GitHub just gave coding agents the ability to open stack PRs. So instead of a huge PR, you can have an agent to break a feature down into smaller PRs and stack them together. But creating the stack is only the start. Now I have several PRs, CI failing, bot review comments, file conflicts. And once you change something at the first PR, everything above can also change. So the question isn't, can an agent create a stack, but can an agent keep a stack clean and ready to merge? So GitHub just published this feature at the beginning of the month, giving the ability to create stacks on GitHub. Just to be clear, this is not something new. There were other solutions that had the ability to stack PRs in the past. Graphite was one of them, and a lot of people already used it. Also, just recently, also posted something that using stack PRs can help you a lot with AI coding agents. So the agent can actually open a stack, evaluate the CI, and keep monitoring. It's not that simple. So some people were posting here that, okay, great. Now they created a stack of PRs, 100 commits, and 100,000 lines of code across 10 PRs. And they try to squash and merge the stack. Something happened in the middle, and now they have 9 PRs in the limbo that need rebase. Or Mikio here that installed the GitHub GH stack, but the problem is that the agent doesn't know where it is in the middle of the full stack of PRs together. Now, before we talk about this specifically, I just want to really explain why GitHub Stack. You might say, I had the ability to stack PRs previously. I could just open a PR that is pointing to main, and then the several other PRs were basically pointing to the branch I created here on the first PR. Well, kind of. So if this were that simple, this blog post here from Dave Pacheco, he actually explained his full workflow before GitHub Stack feature was out, and it is not that simple. So once you start squash merging, you actually create a new commit. So all the PRs actually lose track of what was the parent commit. So what happens here in practice is once you squash merge, let's say PR1, now PR2 is now pointing directly to main, right? But there are a few catches here. The problem previously is that once you did that, first, you could have conflicts happening because main is constantly evolving, so more PRs could be merged, and then you might have to rebase it again. And secondly is this will probably rerun your full CI again, and you have to do this again. So not a very intuitive way to do it, right? So what happens is you have PRs branching off main, and then you're stacking them together. The difference here is that instead of having to rerun everything that was executed previously, GitHub, because it has all the diffs between all PRs, once you have the CI green, no more conversation to be resolved, or there are no conflicts, you actually have the ability to merge the whole stack in one click, and you don't have to rerun CI again. So this happens from top to bottom. So the GitHub will then merge the last PR down to the first PR. So if you go to GitHub documentation page, they'll actually mention this specifically on what are the advantages of using a stack PR pull request in GitHub. Basically, branch management, so you have the ability to rebase and keep branches in sync across PRs that are dependent. Rules in CI, because again, GitHub has the context of everything that is changing. You don't have to rerun CI checks. And if you run a CI once, you don't have to rerun it again once you merge PRs that are part of the stack. And also review context. So it has the ability to have full context of what's happening here. And if we go back, why this is helpful for agents in the first place. So just to remind us here, agents have a context window, right? So one feature that most harnesses implemented was keeping a task list of things to do. This is great because even though the context window is compacted over time, keeping a durable task list helps the agent to keep going and working on a specific task. Now, with stacked PRs, you actually are also providing durable checkpoints. So the agents can actually go back and check the work done on PR1, PR2, PR3, and then how they're all connected together. And GitHub provided us some tools so the agents can actually go through the stack by merging, syncing, rebasing those PRs together in a more easy way. So they have even created a skill that gives context for agents to actually learn how to use those tools. Now, the problem starts when you go to actually real PRs that you're opening on real repositories. So here's an example. I opened 4 PRs that are stacked together, and I'm going to open them and show you what exactly is happening. So on the bottom PR of the stack, this PR is actually green, so it's ready to be merged, but the other PRs are actually not ready yet. Let's check what's happening. So on this first PR, I have AI bot reviews that are actually preventing me from from merging this PR. On the second PR, I have conflicts. So I can't merge this PR until the conflicts are resolved. And on the third PR, I have a CI check that it's failing. Now, at the same time, it is great to have the feature broken down into small, easy to review and easy to go through PRs. Now, you have each PR having an AI review or a human review happening. You have checks running and you have conflicts that can actually happen individually. Now, how can you keep up and have an agent to actually monitor everything together? And the way I thought of this is actually there are different ways to do it, and you don't have to copy the way I wrote it. Skills are like very personal, and I think you shouldn't ever, well, there are exceptions, but in most cases, you shouldn't be copying a skill, just copy and pasting. You should actually learn the skill, understand what the user is trying to do there, and then apply or adjust the skill to your needs specifically. So what the skill is basically doing, it's assigning a sub-agent or a thread to actually be the owner of that PR individually. So that sub-agent here will actually resolve any AI review comment, any CI issue, and any conflicts. Of course, having context of what was the feature that we are implementing, the sub-agent now is handling this PR, I have another this PR and this PR. So the monitor PR skill will actually keep going until all PRs are ready to merge. So then you can just go back and click once and all the PRs will be merged. So stack PRs are really a great starting point for coding agents. It made it possible to have a really big feature to be broken down into small pieces that are easier to review. But creating the stack isn't enough. About review comments, pipelines that might be failing, or conflicts that might be happening. And keep checking it until the PR is fully green. GitHub gave a better way to organize the work when opening PRs, but now it's our turn and our time to actually teach the agents on how to do that properly, especially aligned with our workflow, how we work, and how our team works. So this is actually what I mentioned in the previous video about skills, like really creating the procedure that you and your team actually think is the best way to handle that specific task. So that's another use case for skills, and really creating a skill that kind of mimics your current process is really the way to go here. I'm going to link the lab, the GitHub Stack Lab repository, and the skills that I showed you guys in the links below. And I hope to see you guys next time. Bye.